7:07 now. This morning, the U.S.'s fragile ceasefire with Iran is in doubt following U.S. airstrikes in Iran.
President Donald Trump launching those strikes after blaming Tehran for an American helicopter crash. The military says it targeted Iranian air defense systems, ground control stations, and surveillance radar sites. U.S. officials described the operation as retaliation and an act of self-defense. The president says a drone attack brought the helicopter down early Tuesday morning near the Strait of Hormuz, and he says a drone boat rescued the two pilots who were not hurt. This incident now threatens efforts to reach a peace agreement just hours after the president said a deal could possibly be reached by the end of the week. Iran's top diplomat says that there's going to be a response to the latest U.S. attacks.